They say Li Bai wrote this poem 1300 years ago alone under the moonlight. But for me, this poem, it starts in the cold dorm room when I was 15. I just arrived in Australia all by myself, and that was the year when all of those poems from my childhood suddenly become so tangible, like flash and burn. At the age when I barely understand the concept of sorrow, I was struck for the very first time by the raw, heavy weight of homesickness. If you've ever lived by yourself, or if you are drifting in a foreign land right now, you know that homesickness isn't just a word. It's definitely a physical ache. But today, let's look at how the greatest poet in Chinese history, Li Bai, captured the feeling of homesickness. Let's find the rhythm in the poem Jing Hear the heartbeat of Hanzi, MIC. Join me to savor the rhythm of Chinese. 静夜思，唐·李白。床前明月光，疑是地上霜。举头望明月，低头思故乡。Before we mastering the pronunciation of the poem, I would love to lead you taste the poem. We can easily find out from the title that this poem is wrote on a night that is perfectly, painfully silent. In English, the title of 静夜思 was translated to the thoughts on a tranquil night. I believe the word thought is just too light. I think it's more like the echo in the silence. Let's look at the first two lines. We have 床前明月光，疑是地上霜。床前 in front of your bed. Chinese and English have different word orders. Remember, you need to reverse them. In front of the bed, we say 床前。明月光 is easy, it's bright moonlight. But we can definitely tell from the first line that Li Bai wrote this poem in the middle of night, or is talking about a story happening at nighttime. Alright? The second line, 疑是地上霜. 疑 is to suspect, to doubt. 地上 on the ground. 霜 is frost. I bet you already noticed that we got a pretty appropriate metaphor here. Li Bai compared moonlight to frost. But there is a lot of metaphor about the moonlight. A lot of people say that a moonlight looks like a piece of silk. Others might say it's like a diamond, or I've heard people say it's like a silver carpet. All of that. Why Mr. Li Bai choose the frost? What do we know about the frost? A frost is cold, is giving us a silent moment, and if we saw something is surrounded by frost, by just looking at this kind of pictures, giving us a lonely feeling, right? Imagine if you were Li Bai. You woke up in the middle of the night, you still like half asleep. You had that blurry moment and couldn't tell if that's dream or reality. What you can see is a piece of silver white light in front of your bed. And you were asking, oh, what is that? Is that a frost? And then you realize it's actually moonlight coming from window. At that moment, you were just alone by yourself. So inside of Li Bai's heart, when he wrote this poem, I believe he's pretty lonely and is pretty cold inside of the heart. That's why to project moonlight as a frost is kind of physical illusion that's telling us that he is pretty lonely now. Let's look at the last two lines. We have 举头望明月，低头思故乡。举头 raising the head, 低头 lowering the head. 望 is gazing. 思 is thinking or missing. Alright, so in the middle of the night, back to 1300 years ago, when you're raising your head, what are you gazing at? Well, I believe there's only one thing that you can gazing at, since there's no electricity in the ancient time at all. So he's gazing at the moon. That's what he said. He said, 举头 raising the head, gazing at 望明月 the moon. Straight away, he's lowering his head, saying 低头. What he's doing, he's thinking 思 about what? About 故乡, his hometown. So the last two lines, when I'm raising my head and gazing at the moon, I feel so sad. I feel so lonely. Straight away, I lower in my head and thinking about my hometown, my family that still live in my hometown, which is 1,000 miles, maybe thousands miles away from me. All I can think of in the middle of night is my family members, my relatives, my hometown. We all know that kind of feelings, right? This picture is so vivid. It's like a slow motion. At least you had one night in your life that you just woke up in the middle of the night and starts to missing someone. It can be your family, can be your relatives, friends, or someone is no longer with you. One interesting fact that I would like to mention here is in Chinese literature, we love to use moon to represent longing for your hometown, your family's relatives, or an old friend, or someone you loved before. I was wondering why is that? Well, if you think about it, if we all lived in 2,000 years ago, at night, if you start to feel sad, the sadness is covering you, you cannot stop thinking of your families or your old friend. Your childhood time is like a movie that keep running in your head, and you just lost your sleep. What you can do? Well, obviously there's no electricity, no telephone, nothing. All you can do is write something down. Maybe a letter, maybe a poem like Li Bai, to mark down your emotions, right? If it's a letter, you can always send them out. If it's a poem, you know what, maybe in the future, they're still reading this poem and feel exactly the same with you. Well, a more romantic way of explaining this is maybe because in the old time, the moon is the only connections that you could find between you and your family members. Because there's only one moon in the sky. When you meet someone you love and they miss you too, you're both looking at the moon and you guys have sort of connections and you are sharing a moment, even you are so far away from each other. Well, next time, if you try to say, oh, I miss my hometown, instead of saying I have homesick, you can say 举头望明月，低头思故乡. Alright, are you guys ready? It's our favorite part. Now let's mastering the rhythms. Okay, let's see how do we breath life into the short poem 静夜思, right? You ready? Let's do it. First thing first, let's look at the rhyming word. We have 光,霜,香. Did you notice they all ending at As we mentioned in the previous episode, this is a back nasal sound. Imagine your tongue is like a slide. Your tip is down behind your lower teeth, but the back part is arches up, so we can block some air. Let's try now. To test if you're doing it right, we can touch the bridge of our nose with the finger, and then remember your tongue position. Let's try now. If you're doing them right, your finger should feel a strong vibration in here. Let's try. Now let's try with the characters. First one we got 歌,歌,乌,光,光. Second one we got 诗,乌,霜,诗,乌,霜,霜. Last one we got 西,香,西,香,香. Nice job, nice job. You did so well. Okay, the second key point we have in here, let's look at the first one. How do we pronounce this character? English speakers, here is where you need to stay concentrate. Okay, be really careful because I've heard a lot of guys pronounce this one as C. Do not pronounce this as C. You need to remember this is a fraction-based sound. It's not a vowel-based sound. Let me show you how do we master this. What you do is arch your tongue tip and touching the base of your lower teeth. And here, you need to remember that your tongue must stay completely flat. Flat your tongue, arch your tips at the base of your lower teeth. And then close your upper and lower incisors and just leaving a teeny gap. Let's try to pronounce s. Did you hear that? When you let the air flow in that teeny gap, you should hear a hissing fraction, like s, s, s. Let's pronounce them stronger. We got s, s. Well done. This character we pronounce as s, s. You got it? Remember this feeling. Let's try pronounce this one. E, E. Exactly same position as s, but this is a different consonant, so we use exactly same method. E, E. Try the last one. Other thing you need to be careful for this one is the tone. This is the third tone. This is your net major. I get it, but just follow me. Pretty sure you can definitely nail it. This one is pronounced as 基于举 基于举 Your tongue is not moving at all, okay? Flat and tipping lower teeth. Your mouth is changing, but your teeth stay exactly same place. 基于举 举 That's pretty good. Well done, well done. I think it's time for us to read the whole poem together. Alright, I will read it first, line by line. Please follow me. Don't forget our rhythm, okay? Let's try it together. 静夜思，床前明月光。疑是地上霜。举头望明月，低头思故乡。That is so good. No joke. I'm so proud of you guys. That is all for our session. You did so well. I hope you love our poem for today. If you have any questions about pronunciation, please comment down below. I will definitely answer you. Or if there's any other poem you would love to learn with me, let me know. I will make a video just for you. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up and subscribe. I will see you in our next session. Bye bye. 学中文好。I see spicy Chinese.